All right. We are going to talk about the full moon in Scorpio. This is happening at 11 degrees. If you have any planets between, 9 and 13. Some people say you could go 4 degrees. We could go down to almost 7. Some people are like, no, keep it within like 3. So I will do whatever you feel. If you feel like you're feeling the vibes, this is a full moon in Scorpio, so maybe we do go to 4. So let's say 7 to 15 because Scorpio is intense. Yes, Isis, I'm not going to do that. And plus, I was like, I have to change my ways because, I feel like I've been putting some negative energy into the universe. And as a Capricorn, it's been boomeranging right back to me. So I got to put the positive energy out so it'll. You know what? I have had some tea. I don't know if it really helps. I think it's also me drinking coffee makes it worse. Yeah, I don't know. Because I feel like the coffee it's still lingering. But hold on, let me just have some more. Sorry. I don't know. I really do. I've also been talking all weekend, which I shouldn't be doing. It's very hard not to talk. Okay, I'm seriously going to get started now. We're going to stay on topic. We're talking about the full moon in Scorpio. This is impacting hey, Desiree, fixed signs. That's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. It is occurring at 11 degrees. So we said if you have planets between 7 and 14, especially 9 to 13, you're really feeling the vibes. What are the vibes? Rebirth, transformation, secrets, intensity, transformation. What else? I said that already. Healing, all of the things. All right. This is called the flower moon because it was named after the spring flowers that bloom around this time. I don't know if you guys seen Killers of the Flower Moon. I read the book. I don't know. Hey, Gladys. So that's what that book was based on, I guess, because the killings started around that time. This is occurring at 1:23 on May 1st, p.m. EDT. All right, so we'll start feeling the vibes probably around Thursday, and then they'll continue, Friday and Saturday. I talked about the themes already. My mantra for this full moon is if there's something wrong with the fruit, then check the root. I stole that from my friend. He's a psychologist. It's time to get to the heart of the matter, right? What are the vibes? The moon is challenged in the sign of Scorpio. That means it doesn't really like it there. No shade to my Scorpio moons. I have a challenged moon too in Capricorn. The moon is the planet of emotions. And yes, Scorpio is a highly emotional sign, but it hides its feelings. It likes to suppress its feelings below the surface so it can maintain control. But there's a tsunami brewing underneath the surface, right? Of all these energies that haven't been dealt with. During this lunation, you may notice some repressed feelings of your own coming to the surface. Think of it as digging up old pain that's been long buried. There could be some fears or low vibe energies that are brought up. Sounds wonderful. Yay, let's go. No, I actually like this full moon for shadow work. Remember, you can't heal what you don't reveal. It's time to be vulnerable. It's time to get to the bottom of things. Full moons bring closure and culmination. Some people do magic at the full moon. I don't. I do releasing, right? I don't draw things in at the full moon. I release at the full moon. I think of it as a decluttering, both physically and psychologically, right? I clean up. I get rid of things. I also let go of emotions and feelings that I've been holding on to. Secrets can be revealed during the full moon because the moon is big and bright. It's illuminating situations. We're also letting go of baggage and what no longer serves us so we can make room for the new moon in Taurus, right? When we start to call in all those material things that we want or love, Taurus, Venus. A full moon occurs when the sun is opposite the moon. There's this push-pull between the outer self, right, the sun, and the inner self, the moon. What's exposed, Taurus, declutter. Oh, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, declutter, you declutter. And what's hidden, right, Scorpio, the ego and the emotions. The ego would be the sun, the emotions would be the moon. With the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, we could feel torn between life and death, okay? I don't mean a literal death, an ego death. Material and spiritual, the practical and the emotional, the tangible and the unseen. Taurus is growth, Scorpio is decay. Do we continue to nourish people, places, or things? Or do we need to let them die? Maybe we need to let them die. I don't mean a literal death, but maybe you are letting something like fizzle out. So let it burn, something that's run its course, right? Or, maybe you're trying to figure out a way to salvage something, right? Taurus is a builder, it sustains. But sometimes we need to let things die so they can be reborn and transformed. We're seeking to balance that Scorpio and Taurus energy. Any Scorpios in the chat? Are we building bridges or burning them behind us? Do we maintain or do we change? I don't know. We might need to do both. Taurus and Scorpio are both signs associated with money, right? I knew what you're saying, Gladys. Taurus rules my money. Scorpio is our money. There could be issues that arise between what's yours and what's ours. Are you sharing? Are you being too stingy with the funds? Are you giving too much to the point of your own detriment, right? Where it's impacting you. Balance is key. Are you valuing material possessions and wealth over authentic human connection and vulnerability? Yes, no, I'm kidding. Full moons, again, it's a time of release. What can we let go of during this time? Free yourself from grudges, control, shame. Hey, Christine, jealousy. Let go of valuing profits and possessions over people. That's something I had to learn. Yeah, Taurus, the second house. How are you? Let go of, I just said that, greed, hoarding wealth or material items, right? That could be the low vibe energy of Taurus. Hey, Michelle. Let's get into the astrology of the full moon chart. There are two rulers of this moon because Scorpio is co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. The modern ruler would be Pluto, which is currently in the sign of Aquarius. It's slowing down right now because it's going to station retrograde on May 6th. Planets are strongest. They're most potent when they're slowing down or speeding up because they're kind of hanging around that degree. So if you have anything around 5 degrees of Aquarius, stay woke. Or Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, right? Because it'd be squaring those planets. Hey, MJ, how are you? You are feeling this energy. In the new moon chart, Pluto is moving. We're not cooked. Well, we are cooked. But no, we're not cooked. I'm kidding. We're going to heal. We're going to transform. We're going to be reborn. Okay? Plutonian themes can arise during this time. Again, transformation, death, rebirth, power, control. Pluto's energy is strong in the chart because we're moving away. We're rotisserie. I'm dead. From the square to Pluto, all right? Pluto squares the moon before the full moon, the full moon. Sorry, I'm getting confused. And then it's separating. I think Pluto's at 5 degrees. The moon is at 11, right? So it's 6 degrees away. All right. I definitely have been crying too. So welcome. Okay. Welcome. I'm like, free me. I don't know what it is. It's been horrible. I just randomly started crying and I was like, why am I crying right now? And even just watching TikToks, please. All right. I'm going to focus. Okay. So we can have power struggles, right? In personal relationships because of that Pluto square the moon, especially with women. It could bring up some intense emotions. Maybe you're thinking about something that happened to you during childhood, right? Pluto has the tendency to bring up fears and very painful emotions. All right, we have the traditional ruler Mars influencing the moon as well. Mars is in Aries and it's forming an inconjunct or a quincunx. I don't know why I did that because that's not how it looks. To the moon because we're going to have a yod in this new moon chart. Full moon. Why do I keep saying new moon in this full moon chart? All right, Mars is active in Aries. It is strong here. So maybe you're a little bit more aggressive or even angry during this full moon period. This is a time where maybe some old beef resurfaces. It's interesting. I just saw there's like a season 2 of Beef out now, right? Maybe you are thinking about revenge, but no, the best revenge is no revenge. That's what Jagger told me. It's time to finally free yourself from any grudges that you've been carrying around, right? Let's talk about the yod. That's the most powerful aspect in this full moon chart. A yod looks like a little witch's hat, a skinny triangle, right? I've just been learning about yads. You guys stay tuned. I mean, I've always known about them, but I'm finally like learning about them. You know, I'll be like, I don't really understand yads. So I'm going to do a post on Substack about yads. But basically, to make a long story short, the key to a yod is the midpoint, okay? And that's in the sextile. So what would the midpoint here be? It would be Taurus, yes. So wherever you have 9 degrees Taurus, I don't know, that's where you can find the remedy. Grounding, you know, healing through like physical touch, maybe getting massage. What else are some Taurian things? Appealing to the senses, you know, creating stability and security for yourself. But let me get back into the yod. It's when 2 planets sextile each other. Venus in Gemini and Saturn in Aries are forming a sextile. Then they're quincunxing the moon. Okay, so that's the yod. So the moon is uncomfortable. Venus and Saturn are vibing, but the moon is like the odd man out. You know when you have like a 3-person friendship group, a trio, hey Mookie, and I had a friend group of 3 people, and it would always be like 2 against 1. And I was usually always like the one in the middle, like trying to bring everybody together. But anyway, that's kind of like a yod, right? When Venus and Saturn are happy, the moon isn't happy. When the moon is happy, Venus and Saturn aren't happy. So if you have a yod in your chart, that's kind of a brief explanation of it. The soft is, right, the Venus sextile to Saturn. This is good energy for locking in with creativity or personal commitments. I like Venus and Saturn for making long-term money moves. Again, this is Taurus and Scorpio. My money, our money, you know, money I earn, money I borrow. So good time for financial planning or releasing any money blocks that you have. But the moon is where the hiccup comes in, right? The moon is our security and what we need to feel safe. When the moon is quincunx Venus, it means that Venus is happy, the moon isn't thrilled, vice versa. Same goes for Saturn. The moon in Scorpio needs to go below the surface. How are you, Tay? Did I say hey to you? I'm sorry. There could be this clash between having fun and socializing and really connecting on a deep level, right? Because Venus in Gemini just wants to have fun. The moon in Scorpio is like, we need to merge souls. We need to bond. We need to like get to the heart of the matter. Venus in Gemini is like, we need to keep it light. Shout out to all my Venus and Gemini placements. And Saturn in Aries just wants to go. It just wants to take action. The moon in Scorpio is like, what's the plan? You don't have a plan. So there could be this clashes between those energies. There can be clashes between those energies. Okay. Again, look to 9 degrees Taurus in your chart for guidance on how to handle this energy. Mercury is forming a tight conjunction to Chiron in Aries. That's another salty-ish part of this moon. Mercury is the thoughts and mind. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's giving words can hurt or they can heal, right? Some painful emotions can surface during the full moon. Maybe you're blaming a friend or a sibling, right? Mercury, because they made you feel away. Maybe you had an argument or some kind of conversation, but your thoughts could also be a trigger for old wounds, right? Mercury is the mind. Aries is the self. You could be hurting your own feelings with negative self-talk and criticism. Don't do that. If you have any insecurities that pop up, this is a good time to address what is showing up for you so you can heal. Journaling can be a helpful way to release any hurtful, harmful feelings. Good day for therapy or even drawing. I like Mercury in drawing, and then all this stuff going into Gemini. I feel like using your hands, right? I already said this. No, I didn't. Mars in Aries is the ruler of the moon. And it's moving towards a square with Jupiter. It's not exact, but it's building. So this energy is like intensifying. Thank you, Gladys. There could be this tendency to overdo it. Mars is ambition, Jupiter's growth. Maybe we're rushing into projects or goals because we're overly optimistic and eager, but we don't have everything worked out, right? We might be biting off more than we could chew, okay? We might be growing too fast and maybe too big. Thank you, T. So slow down, Ferrari. That's what I always used to tell my best friend. That's Aries moon. Because we're feeling more impulsive and reckless, right? Mars in Aries is not the most patient sign. We maybe notice that conflict arises. Paying attention between what we want, right? Mars in Aries, and what our family or chosen family wants from us. Jupiter in Cancer could be some family drama. Oh Lord, free me. We still have that magic triangle. You guys know I'm going to keep talking about that. I feel like I'm throwing up the rock. I would not be doing that. Shout out to Jay-Z. Not shout out to Jay-Z. Check out my last TikTok post. I just talked about this magic triangle. Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, and Neptune in Aries are all vibing out. We're raising our frequency and our consciousness. It's time to pursue your dreams and step into a higher vibration. I'm adding something new into the mix. You guys get excited. You're like, I don't care. The full moon takes place at 11 degrees, which is represented by the tarot card, the Six of Cups. I'm giving you guys the tarot card. I don't have it out to show you. Next time I'll do that. This is a card of childhood memories, the past, happiness, and reunion. While Scorpio is seeking transformation, they can also fixate on the past. I don't know. My dad is always talking about the past as a Scorpio. They can cling to what was, right? We don't want to do that. That's the shadow side of this energy. We're not going back, right? Well, that campaign really failed. Remember, like, we're not going back. We actually did go back. All right. So let's look back to the past lovingly, but let's not get stuck in the past. Let's not cling to the past. Let's not wish that things could go back to the way they were, right? Let's acknowledge that we need to move forward. Another thing I was thinking about is the astrological ruler of this decan is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Cancer. If we use traditional rulership, I know I'm getting deep here, but Jupiter in Cancer can create this nostalgia for the old days. All right. And I feel like isn't Jupiter in Cancer in the US chart? So I feel like sometimes there's something in Cancer we know the sun is in Cancer, but I feel like something else was in Cancer. I don't know. Okay. But maybe Jupiter squaring Mars is saying, hey, the past is holding us back from new explorations and adventures, right? All right, I'm going to get into the horoscopes. My voice is cracking. Sorry. We're going to start with Aries and we're going to end with Pisces, okay? If you missed your sign, it will be on YouTube. So tap in with me over on YouTube at the Hippy Dippy Studio. The Aries, oh my God, my voice. Aries, I feel like I'm going through puberty. The full moon is shining a light on your financial and emotional fears, Ram. Anxieties around money and intimacy can surface during this time, so you can finally put your worries to bed. Journaling or even simply sitting with your emotions and allowing the discomfort to move through you, right? Emotions are energy in motion, can be very therapeutic. Maybe you need to open up to a partner or friend about how you really feel about a situation. Are you hiding how you feel? Maybe a serious talk is needed regarding joint finances. You're likely looking to build a nest egg and grow your savings, but is your partner on the same page? Remember, slow and steady wins the race. Don't rush and fall for a money scam trying to get rich quick. Aries mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I am safe to express my shadows. Okay, Taurus, the full moon is illuminating imbalances in your relationships, bull. Are you giving more than taking in your partnership, whether it's your boss, a bestie, boo, or bro? You might need to scale back on the amount of time and energy you dedicate to others. Yes, it's time to think about you. Maybe you're not seeing an ROI. You know, Taurus loves an ROI when it comes to your personal connections. This isn't to say that relationships have to be transactional and tit for tat, but you don't want to pour from an empty cup either. Is it, Mookie? If you feel like you've done all you can, don't be afraid to let that man go or woman or they, them, whoever, right? Alien, let it go. The sun in Taurus is shining a light on your dreams and desires. Make sure you're carving out time to focus on yourself. Balance is key. Taurus mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I am allowed to set healthy boundaries. And so it is. An exalted moon is nice. That was on point, T. Gemini. Break up with the bad habits, twin. Are you doom scrolling, vaping, or boozing too hard? Free yourself from the vices. Maybe your 9 to 5 is toxic and you want to break up with that too. If you can't just up and quit your job, I know that's right. Maybe you request to be transferred to another department or team. If you got to stick it out, try to smooth things over with your coworkers by buying donuts for everyone. I'm telling you, that'll do the trick. Rest may be needed if you've been overworking yourself. Don't be afraid to take a mental health day and touch grass. Literally, yes, touch grass, okay? With Uranus and Gemini, you might feel overstimulated and even a little anxious. Meditation, yoga, or walking could be great ways to connect with your body and calm your mind. Gemini mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I prioritize my well-being because I deserve it and do. Cancer, where you at, Moonchild? You're feeling extra smothery, crabby. If you're a mother, some sensitive feels may arise during this full moon around your children. You might be preparing for a child to leave for college, or maybe you realize you have to let an adult child stand on their own and fly solo. Let them go. This is a good lunation for releasing any tough feelings from childhood. Romance is also a theme. Your situationship may transform into a relationship. If your connection is on the rocks, okay, then you might decide to break it off with your beloved. You're looking to tune in with happiness. So any activity or hobby or even person that has lost its luster and joy may be on the chopping block. Cancer mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I am in charge of my own happiness, and so it is. Leo, the full moon focuses on family, Lion. You might have been neglecting your loved ones as you set your sights on a promotion or, hey Nelly, or a new professional position, but it's time to come home. You could be thinking about moving or making changes to your house, whether it's minor repairs or major renovations. This is a very supportive energy for extending the olive branch to a loved one that you have beef with. It's time to forgive. If you're not ready to forgive and forget, get to the root of the issue. You may need to reflect back to childhood and see what patterns or behaviors you're holding on to that no longer serve you. Leo mantra for the Scorpio full moon. My home reflects the calm within me. Where's Too Lovely? She wanted me to talk about the nodes and I haven't yet. I'll do that soon. Virgo, it's time to raise your mental frequency, Virgo. If you've been too critical of yourself and the people in your life, shut down all the self-doubt and judgment. Your thoughts create your reality. So put ideas into the universe that reflect what you desire. Don't allow fear to attract people, places, or things into your life that you aren't really seeking. Amen. Okay. This is a good time to have a come to Jesus with a friend or sibling if you have not been on the same page. Forgive and forget. That's a theme, forgiveness and forgetting, because Scorpio likes to remember. If your daily life has been chaotic, see what you could do or drop to lighten the load. Maybe that errand or paperwork can be passed on to someone else. You don't have to do it all. Allow others to serve you. I like that, Virgo. Virgo mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I let go of any negative feelings about myself or my life and accept all that is good. And so it is. Libra. I like Libras. I mean, I like everybody's, but sorry. Money is a frequency, Libra. Are you tapped into the vibration of abundance? Maybe it's less about hustling to make it happen and more about believing that you are deserving and worthy of the prosperity that you're seeking. If you're blowing the bag as quick as you make it, some adjustments to your spending might be needed. Are you mindful with your purchases? You might just be tapping Apple Pay. Hey, friend, YG. I called you YG. YL. This is a good time to see what hidden treasures are just taking up space around your house. Remove money blocks by selling, donating, or giving away items that you no longer use. Free up that financial chi. Libra mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I am letting go of all of my limiting beliefs about money. Yes, period. Scorpio, you're upgrading and leveling up this full moon, Scorpio. It's time for a transformation. Scorpios are always going through transformations. Ditch the attitude or the outlook that's been holding you back from manifesting your dreams. Maybe there's something from the past that is weighing on you and you finally release it under this lunation. The energy of the full moon supports putting yourself first, but make sure you don't neglect your relationships. Balance is key. And maybe you've been so concerned about we that you're forgetting me. You could decide to switch up your appearance with a new look. You're ready for something different. Make sure to get proper rest, as the full moon can be emotionally and physically draining. Yes, full moon in your first house. Scorpio mantra for the Scorpio full moon. All of the changes in my life are positive and empowering, and so it is. Sagittarius, it's time to make peace with the past, Saggy. Instead of catching flights to avoid your feelings, this full moon, sit still and see what comes up for you. Maybe you've been running from some difficult emotions, but you can't outrun your pain. You know, Sagittarius likes to travel and no shade to the Sagittarius. They don't like to deal with the hard stuff. Maybe you try Reiki healing or tap in with a psychic or therapist to unpack any challenging feelings that arise for you. This is a heavier energy, but this too shall pass once you work through your emotions. Take time away from the crowd to rest and heal. Journaling can also be a good way to process whatever is coming up for you during this full moon phase. Sagittarius mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I am allowed to feel my emotions without judgment. Period. Capricorn, you're repairing platonic bonds or breaking them, Cappy. You may be ready to sever ties with a bestie that you feel disconnected from. This BFF might have been more of a frenemy than a friend, or you're growing in different directions, which happens in friendships. Hey, wash your ash. This is me. Even though I'm not a Capricorn rising, I still am a sun, and I relate to this. You're rethinking social commitments if they don't feel in alignment with who you are and where you're going. A major development around a long-term goal could come to light during the full moon. If you aren't feeling the pursuit of a dream anymore, you could decide to abandon it. It's not quitting, it's pivoting your path. You don't want to climb the wrong mountain and only realize that when you're at the peak, right? That's the worst. Capricorn mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I deserve friends I can trust. Yes, Cappies, you do. I love you. Okay, sorry, I got to show the Capricorn some love. Yes, Liza, that was for you. Damn, that went 8. Aquarius, a professional chapter may be closing out, Aqua. Maybe a work assignment ended, you secured another job, or you're ready to retire. Entrepreneurship might be the move for you with Pluto in your sign, encouraging your personal empowerment. You could swing back and forth between spending time with family and locking in on your career goals. With compromise and moderation, right? You can make time for both work and home. If you don't work, I love that for you. Not everybody works, okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. This energy may be more about charity work, mentoring, or services that you offer because of a deep calling. Maybe you're ready to start your own nonprofit or launch that passion project. Aquarius mantra for the Scorpio full moon. I follow my passions. Pisces, Elfin, the end. When a door closes, a window opens, Pisces. You're wrapping up a physical or mental journey during this full moon phase. Maybe you finally finished with your manuscript and you're ready to publish your book. It could be that you're graduating and getting your degree. You completed a certification, or hey to everybody that I'm not seeing, or you're returning from a vacation. You might be wondering what's next for you. The world is your oyster. Trust that what you're seeking is seeking you. Open yourself up to new possibilities. It's time for your next adventure, but maybe you have to handle some business at home before you jet set off to a foreign country for a silent retreat or start your PhD program. Pisces mantra for the Scorpio full moon: I have the confidence to try new things without fear. Whoop! I did it.